Let's talk about Spirit Airlines because the abrupt shutdown of the company left many travelers stranded just over the weekend. It also raised concerns that steep discounts on air travel will be harder to come by. Now, Spirit Airlines, as we said, has now shut down for good, and the company ran out of cash and canceled all future flights after a $500 million federal bailout fell through. Spirit also ended its customer service, and with no employees to help, passengers had to scramble to find a new way home. There's also concern that Spirit's closure could push ticket prices higher.
Prices are going to spike on every airline, so it's going to be a very difficult challenge now for the passengers and the aviation industry.
Pretty upset, pretty sad.
You can't just walk away. That's just not how you do things.
Now, Spirit Airlines CEO blamed the sudden and sustained rise in fuel prices in recent weeks for Spirit's sudden closure. I want to bring in Nathan Bomey, business reporter with Axios. He joins us right now live. Nathan, thank you for your time. What do you think is the impact of this closure on price-sensitive flyers?
Well, I think it's going to be significant, especially in routes where Spirit had specialized. So you look at, for example, going to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Some of these routes that Spirit did on a regular basis, those are the ones where suddenly there's not as much competition. And so when you take a big competitor out of the market in any industry, it's going to provide more power to the people that are still around. And so I think there's no doubt that in the long run, you could definitely see fares rise across the board.
And Nathan, what about the labor market? What kind of economic impact could this have?
Well, 17,000 people losing their jobs here. That includes contractors and employees of Spirit Airlines overnight. That's significant. This is going to be really one of the biggest, if not the biggest, liquidations in several years in America. And so you're going to see a very immediate impact now. I do believe that some of the flight attendants and pilots, for example, will get hired probably by other airlines. Some of the other airlines have struggled to find pilots over time. So there's a good chance a lot of those folks land on their feet. But there's a lot of other people, maintenance people, and other contractors who may not be able to find jobs right away.
And, back in 2024, a planned merger between Spirit and JetBlue was blocked. There's some in the Trump administration who say that's really what you should point to as to what caused this closure with Spirit. But how much of a role do you think that played in Spirit's closure?
I think it's gotten very difficult to argue that rejecting that deal was good for Spirit. I mean, was it antitrust or anti-competitive? Certainly the Biden administration argued that. But, it feels like the company would have had a better chance of surviving had they been allowed to pull that deal. But you also have to note that the final straw was the jet fuel prices that spiked because of the Iran war started by the Trump administration. So there's a lot of blame to go around here.
Okay. Axios reporter Nathan Bomey, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.